What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to a former deep fighting bantamweight champion. He has a laundry list of wins. His record is amazing. He is the one and only Mangosta, Victor Henry. Victor, what's going on, man?
Chilling. Just got out of my second training session for the day. After this, probably gonna go home on a run because ADHD is a bitch, and being a fighter ain't easy, man.
Yeah, but I mean, it's cool that you're getting the circuits kind of going again. Because here in California, we were kind of like desolate and scorched earth when it came to fighting, and not just like fighting here because that's still kind of a thing, but also it's hard to kind of train for the gyms that are open and the teams that are can train.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird to not have like a carrot to kind of dangle.
yeah. I wouldn't say that everything shut down completely. I mean, everybody who was serious about fighting and all that, I think they all kind of kept training anyways. But everything is on the hush hush. Up until recently when gyms started opening again and people started being able to train again, you know, people out there working.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy because statistically, everybody that has wanted a call from one of the two big promotions, here in North America, UFC and Bellator, those
Uh-huh.
calls were happening. If you were like on the cusp, those
Yeah.
calls were happening more and more often, over this kind of COVID, season than ever
Yeah.
before.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Like even big shows like that, like UFC and Bellator, they they have to they have their own quotas they got to fill, with airtime, and I'm pretty sure that they have well, like I said, they have things they got to fill also. Just because they are who they are doesn't mean that they don't answer to anybody. So I figure that a lot of these people got their call because they need spots to fill, and not to call anybody cheap or anything, but if they got fights that they got to put on, they got to put on those fights. And are you going to pay, your Darren Tills, your Cowboys, or are you going to play your Joe Schmoes? I wouldn't even call them Joe Schmoes because everybody that makes it to UFC, they got some clout about them, but they're not making the McGregor money. You know what I'm saying? So you're still getting your fights, but you're not having to pay your Cowboy Cerrone money. You're not having to pay your Darren Till money or your Tyrone Woodley money. You know what I'm saying?
No, that is absolutely true. And again, a lot of it happening by way of short notice. Like a couple weeks time or even days time. And I mean, no besmirching that, but I mean, usually if you want that opportunity and this is your first time to the dance,
Yeah.
you'll kind of sacrifice that big money deal, just to get on.
Yeah, and you know what? That's just a testament to everybody who's been training, um, to be able to take those short notice fights. I've been preaching to my team for years that just because you don't have a fight coming up doesn't mean that you gotta stay out of the gym. There's a lot of yo-yo fighters where they're in the gym only when they have a fight, and then they're out because they don't have a fight, and then as soon as they're like 8 weeks out or 10 weeks out because they got some sort of freaky notice, all of a sudden they're in the gym again and they're having to train again. So what's happening is that their camp is just literally consisting of losing weight and getting in shape rather than getting better, losing weight and getting in shape. Um, there is a difference between the people that stick in the gym and they're always there. They're improving skill sets, and even if they're not improving skill sets, they're mentally staying engaged to fighting. You know, I've seen people that are going to the gym or going to a fight, and their mind is ready to finish, but they're not recognizing small opportunities, little gaps in the fight game that allow you to actually capitalize on an opponent's shortcomings. And that only comes with being in the gym. You got to be around it all the time, man.
No, absolutely. And I gotta ask, because I mean, you are an accomplished veteran of over. I mean, we're going in on like 25 plus fights here, right? So,
Yeah,
I mean, how did it all start for you?
fighting or martial
Yeah,
arts.
yeah.
Oh, fighting. I was always I was always in the gym, you know, because all right. So after I got my black belt in Taekwondo, I started doing Gracie Jiu Jitsu over in Moreno Valley. Moved back to Southgate, started training at the Gracie Academy in Carson, and then they wanted to start charging me an absorbent amount because I was doing a month to month thing. Because at the time I was 18 years old. I was going to school. I had a job at Knott's Berry Farm, and I was still volunteering at the Taekwondo program. So you know, having a part time job at Knott's Berry Farm and going to school, you know, you don't know how your schedule is going to change, especially working for somebody like Knott's Berry Farm where it's Halloween haunt season or it's summertime. So now you got to be there all day, and you know, it's just you don't know how your schedule is going to change. So that's why I had the month to month deal. I couldn't commit to a year because number one, I'm 18 years old. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna like that or not. And number two, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna my school schedule is gonna change. You don't know what's gonna change. So I was on a month to month basis. So after I got my blue belt, they wanted to start charging me like an absorbent amount for month to month, and then I was like, nah, I'm out. So at the time, I heard about this school called Legends MMA, where they were a fraction of the price, and I could do all the classes that I wanted, which was jujitsu, which was at the time Eddie Bravo, 10th Planet Jiu Jitsu, right out of the bomb squad. So it was
Mhm.
still the original guys, you know, Jared, Epstein, you know,
Yeah.
Randall, Sean Bollinger, all those guys. And then after that, well, when I was over there, I was just training all the time. And my coach, Jimmy Romero, said at the time, bro, you're always training. Why don't you just try a fight? I said, okay. So I had a couple kickboxing smokers. And then from then on, took off.
Man, and you talked about that Legends gym in East Hollywood by the Hollywood, what is it, Hollywood Forever Cemetery? You know,
Are you talking about the Hollywood boxing gym?
no, there's like a cemetery, like a famous cemetery on that same kind of route, where Legends used to be.
It might have moved because when I was there, it was on Sunset and La Brea.
Yeah, like right off of Sunset and La Brea. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't notice it, man. Because I mean, honestly, man, I was there like at 6 in the morning, so I would just get there, maybe sleep in my car a little bit right before class, and then take off back to Southgate so I could get something to eat, and then go to work, and then go to school. You know, so
That grind is, I mean, that's what it is, you know.
yeah, and I was doing that in a 1989 Honda CRX. Yeah.
Hey, the back end of those cars, I mean, those are underrated, you know, like.
Yeah, well, the car is about the size of me, and you know, you're driving this thing, and I mean, it was a busted up car, man. I mean, the steering wheel was detachable. You had to let that thing warm up for at least 10 minutes before even going anywhere. Um, you could feel the rocks on the floorboards on the freeway. You know, if I would have crashed, that would have been it.
No, my brother-in-law, he still collects them. I think he's on his like 12th.
All right, let's wrap it up, y'all.
In 2020.
Uh-huh.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
And Bill Deckoff goes, "What's up, guys? What's up, Bill?
What's up?
Howdy.
How do you pronounce your last name? I don't want to. I don't want to mess it up.
I'm going with Deckoff.
Diekoff?
Deckoff. Yeah, there we go.
Diekoff?
Dykoff. There we go. That's
Diekoff.
even
All
better
right,
than what
yeah.
I said.
That's still a kick-ass name.
Hell yes. So shout out to Bill. And,
Cool ass name, man.
hell yes. Now, I mean, what did you learn about yourself? Because obviously, you know, doing, you know, a traditional martial arts and then, you know, getting into fighting, were there kind of um, aspects that you learned that were kind of gone in your formal training?
Nah, not really. The reason why I started Taekwondo is because they had no football at my high school. I wanted to get into contact sports. All they had at my high school, because I went to a private school, all they had was basketball. And I was like, I'm at the time I was 5'3", ninth grade. I was like, I'm not gonna do anything effective in basketball. I mean, my name ain't Muggsy Bogues, so I'm good. You know, so once I discovered Taekwondo, I mean, my mom, she goes, hey, there's Taekwondo at the community center. It's $25 a month. You want to try it? And I was like, yeah. And come to find out, one of my, a few of my friends that I was hanging out with anyways, were black belts, and they were there, and I was like, oh well, these are my friends anyway, so I'm just gonna hang out with them. We're gonna spar, and then we're gonna go home and play Pokemon or something, or Xbox Halo 1 when it first came out, where people were still, complaining about screen looking or screen watching.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Oh, those were the days.
yeah. Yeah, I remember the massive Xbox controls. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean those were the size of VCRs. I mean the original Xbox was a VCR type
Yeah.
machine, but I mean it was like a VCR in your hand, or at least a Walkman.
Yeah, I mean that thing was huge. My friend's got massive hands anyway, so he was like, "Oh yeah, these are fine." I was like, "Bro, like we're 14 years old. Like you can't have these adult hands already."
No, 100%, 100%. And Bill coming in with the correction, it's Decoff.
Decoff.
Yeah, shout
All
out
right.
to Bill. There
Decoff.
you go.
Thanks.
It's still badass, right?
Yeah, it's still bad. It's still badass. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, you're in your kind of initial endeavors, right? You were training at Legends, and you working at Knots and all that jazz. But like after that first smoker, like what was the course of action? And I mean, did you stay at Legends after that, or like?
Yeah. After the first, I had three smoker fights at Legends and two or three MMA fights under Legends, and then I had amateur MMA fights over in Vegas, and then I had two more, but it wasn't under the Legends banner. After the first smoker fight, it was a kickboxing fight. Um, After the first one, I was like, hey, it's pretty sweet, it's pretty cool, and it's actually on YouTube. You can look it up. Um, After that, I was like, oh, it's pretty cool, but then that's when I started, noticing like I can't go to school and fight at the same time. And like, there's a lot of people that do it. I can't. I am a very one track mind person. So if I'm gonna commit to something, I gotta commit fully. So I can't commit to school and I can't and fighting at the same time. So I just gave fighting my all, and then from then on, I had three kickboxing fights. I won all three of those, and then I went 3-2 as an amateur. And that's when Josh was just like, hey, and this is when my team was going through a little issue. Josh was like, hey, yo, go to CSW. And I was like, yo, man, I don't have a job because at this point, I wasn't working at Notch anymore. And I said, hey, man, I don't have a job. I can't pay CSW. He goes, shut the fuck up. Get your ass there. I'll see you on Monday. I said, okay. So,
Yeah, I mean, when the War Master, and probably at that time he was still going by the Babyface Assassin moniker, but
yeah.
a former UFC heavyweight champion says, "Hey, get your shit together and let's go." You gotta do, right?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Josh, I mean, I had been to CSW before, even before they were my headquarters. So at the time, my instructor Jimmy Romero was taking us there sometimes for sparring. So when I was there, I'd seen Josh a couple times, but the first time I met Josh, he did a seminar with Jimmy, with the Strike Sub Club, and I was like, oh, and I recognized them, of course, because I was a fan of fighting again, anyways. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna try everything I can. And so when he hit me up, hey, you want to shut up for a second? Woo, hey, you want to be a little louder? I'm over here on an interview, man. Thank you. So, what's it called? Yeah, I didn't say you guys didn't have to talk, just not so loud. So,
Well, when Mangosta talks, you listen, right?
yeah, only when the other coaches aren't in the room. Nah, you know what it is? These guys started calling me the shower sheriff.
Really?
Yeah, because all right, so when we work out, there's not very many showers available. There's one, and we're dealing with a lot of people that either got to go to work, they gotta drive back to, far cities, 45 an hour away, and we're talking about LA traffic. We're not talking about rural America where there's nothing going on. Even though there's a pandemic going on, or and everything, there's still going to be a lot of traffic. So you got people in there that like to just poke around in the shower, like, yo, it's a shower. Get in there, shower, get the hell out. So what I started doing is I started putting a 3-minute timer on, and this 3-minute timer goes for the men and the women. Everybody. It's a gym shower. If you want to get a nice, clean, lathered up shower, go home. But, like, dude, I got to drive all the way from Fullerton to LA, and then you're going to tell me that your 10-minute shower warrants me sitting in an hour of traffic? Not gonna happen. Everybody is on the level, and that's why I like. That's why martial arts and everything has impacted me so much. Because no matter how rich you are, no matter how smart you are, no matter what economic branch you were born into or graduated into, the only thing that matters is the time that you spend on yourself on the mat. That's the only thing that matters. And in the gym, everybody's equal until the only thing that matters is the amount of time you put into it. That's why weightlifting cultures. I understand weightlifting culture because the weight does not care who you are, how much or how much you're worth. Can you lift that weight? Yes or no. So
Yep.
that's what gave me the moniker the shower sheriff. I'm yelling at people as soon as that timer hits 3 minutes. Hey, get the hell out of the shower! What are you doing? Shake it twice. You're playing with it. Blah blah blah. And even the ladies, hurry up! I have you a bathroom so you can run in there and change, but you don't need to do all that stuff in the shower room. It's a very small shower room. It's a shower and that's it. Get in the shower. And I understand like some girls, well, I don't want men to see me in my towel. And it's like, listen, you're wearing very little in the gym anyways. None of us care. You're part of the team. We're drilling triangles. Your butthole was basically in my face. Like, I don't care about your stupid towel. Get in the bathroom, change. Or you're in the shower, hurry the hell up, go in there and change. It's all equal over here. You know?
Yeah, and that's the thing, and at a time where we're like everywhere, right? Not just the country, but like just like everywhere is just like kind of crazy and fighting each other and whatever. And you kind of think like, man, you need a little bit more combat sports in your life. Like you just told me, you just gave me a definitive tell, like you don't have this in your life because like once you go and struggle and sweat and bleed and have like just all your giblets in each other's faces and stuff like that, and again, what's the train, right? The little stuff, the differences that you may have, like they become like minute, so minute
Yeah.
because everybody trains. If you're training and you're giving it your all, like it's something that people are going to see. It doesn't matter where you trained before, all of that, whatever. Like the match of the truth teller.
Yeah, I was just trained today, and one of my training partners has a buddy, and this buddy does no drilling at all. He does no drilling at all. He only goes and he spars. He spars or he rolls, and he's funny. He's funny, but I saw him during the beginning of the year, and he had put on some pounds. I was like, bro, what happened? Like I'm not gonna put you because he said, oh yeah, hey Vic, I got a fight at the end of the year. I'll be there, and I was like, all right. I'm gonna put you in a fight, like, and I'll corner you, my man. But it's just funny, because he needs. I mean, I think everybody at least needs one fight, whatever. But he's doing all this training, and I saw him at the beginning of the year, and he went from being able to cut to 145 to now this dude's got to cut to 170, and I'm just like, bro, what happened? He goes, oh. But anyways, I just saw him again tonight, and he had lost a lot of weight, so. That's what the gym does to you, like you hold yourself accountable around accountable people, you'll make those strides.
Yeah, that's some. I don't know. Like everybody's calling it like before it was like baby fat, right? But you're like
Yeah.
45. What the hell is that? Now
Yeah.
it's like Corona weight.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we can call it baby fat. We can call it corona way. I call it accountability, being a fat. So you ain't got it. Yeah. The coronavirus didn't make you pound all those pound cakes.
This is true. This is true.
Right,
I kind of feel like you're speaking to me. So I got to swing around some fucking kettlebells after this. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, whatever you got to do to stay active, my man.
Now, so in terms of being at CSW, man, you're there with Eric Paulson, you're there with Josh Barnett, you're there with Ben Jones. Like that must have been a really cool fucking time for you as a evolving martial artist, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of there was a wealth of knowledge there. Great martial artists and everything. It was just sad that that Josh and Paulson and Ben Jones had their differences of opinion on how differences of philosophy on how to train and everything. And I wish them well, but the fact is that Josh is the one that got me all my fights, and Josh is the one that has always cornered me. So when it came time where they split, I went with who was loyal to me, and and Josh was there for me always. So followed him.
No, And that's good, like, and that's the cool thing about it is everybody has a different philosophy kind of going into this thing and what works best for them individually or as a team. And some of those things, don't mesh up to other ideologies, and that's absolutely fine. Like, everybody can be good, everybody can be whatever. It's just like we're not going to do that anymore. And
Yeah.
there shouldn't be any acrimony or anything like that. It's just like
No.
wish everyone well, and we're still doing the thing. And when you see each other at shows, like it's still, hey, you're
Yeah.
them.
Like, hey, what's up? Yeah. How you guys doing? Yeah.
Absolutely. So I gotta say, you just booked a fight at a time where like a lot of people aren't booking fights, right? I mean,
Mhm.
and you're doing it out of the country in Abu Dhabi. So
Dubai.
how did you find out about it?
Well, first it's gonna be in Dubai. Dubai.
Oh, Dubai. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Dubai. Yeah. So I didn't know that Abu Dhabi and Dubai were kind of having their differences right now. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Apparently Dubai does not like the Flintstones, and Abu Dhabi do.
Yeah, Abu Dhabi, dude.
I
10
got you.
points there.
That's a that's a little dad joke for you. You know who got me that? My dad. My dad got me in that, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna kill you. Yeah. I was, this fight. First of all, this is a rematch against a very tough guy, Dennis Leventriev.
Mhm.
And he's been making noise in Russia, in RCC, and he's taken out some WC vets, and I mean, obviously one of the training partners of Peter Yan, the bantamweight champion of the UFC. So obviously this is gonna be a tough fight. He's a tough guy, and he's got a country rooting behind him. When I fought him the first time, and I came out with the win, it was a hard fought win, but the Russian people were not too happy about it. And that's fine. They're going for their countrymen, and of course, judo is a big thing over there. So when the foreigner won, they weren't too happy, but nonetheless, the Russian people were accepting. Um, he's wanted this rematch, and now it makes sense. He's got some wins. I've got some wins. So now this rematch is going to go on, and the training doesn't stop. I mean, I know it's kind of a short notice thing, but I've kept training anyways. I know he has. You know, so I guess it's going to be rounds 4, 5, and 6. If it goes that far.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. And it's funny because yes, it is a rematch, right? Of the RCC 5 fight that you guys had back in 2018. But I mean, all you guys, I mean, you've obviously evolved as a fighter, so has he. I mean, none more evident than, I mean, his training partner winning a UFC title. So of
Absolutely.
course he's training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's interesting because the first time I fought him, I when I go into a fight, I don't only consider fighting the person I'm going to fight. I have to plan what his training partners are good at and what looks he's already seen. So obviously he's trained with good boxers, Peter Yan. He's trained with people who are good at switching stances, Peter Yan. He's got great strength because of his judo background, and I have to consider all those things. What is he good at? What's he used to seeing? What can I bring that he has not seen before? And seeing how this is a rematch, what can I bring that he has not seen out of me? So
That I love that. I love that, and I think that's kind of crucial in terms of like the evolution of martial arts. And casual fans will talk about, hey, like why would they do that? We've already seen that fight before. But again, if some years have passed, again, the kind of echelon that these two, not just fighters but people, have gone through in the years since their last kind of outing, it's going to be a completely different fight.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, this guy Dennis Demetriev hasn't fought since September of last year, so he's done some evolving. And I mean, I've had fights. He's been on a break, and I think I've had 2 fights. I mean, I would have liked to have more, but
Yep.
I mean, I've had 2 fights, but it's still fights, you know. So,
No,
but I've
100.
had a lot more fights since we've last fought.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I mean, that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That
8.
8. Okay. Well,
No, I'm on a
supposedly
8-fight win streak, so I've had 6 since him. Yeah.
yeah. And he was one of yeah. So he was the one off your current run, but six, since him. But yeah, I mean, in any event, it's going to be a damn fun fight. So, um, how do you see this thing going?
Well, I couldn't get the finish last time, but I plan on getting it this time. I know that for sure he's thinking that, oh, something happened to him, or some probably he probably thought of our fight as maybe a stumbling block. I want to make sure that he remembers that it wasn't a stumbling block. I'm just better than him. So I'm always going for the finish, but everybody's always saying that. Well, how more cliche can you get when you say I'm going for the finish? But you know, out of my last 8, how many have been finishes? You know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
not only that, but how many have been finishes against top level opponents?
a lot of them.
So that's the mentality I'm going for. And that's the intensity I'm bringing to this fight. Like I said, I've stayed in the gym, I've stayed training, I've stayed with my mind right. So this short notice fight isn't too scary to me.
No, no, not at all, not at all. Now, out in the comment section, Tyson Duckworth up there in Alaska saying, "Catch Can Fight Club in the house," and hell yeah, tell those dudes to shut up. There you go.
Yeah,
And for preach in terms of you being the shower sheriff, we got
yeah.
Hector Mosqueda going good vibes, and
Almost, yeah, dude. I got a funny story about Hector. He's a big
yes,
dude. He is a
okay.
big guy. I went to high school with him. He is a big dude. But tell me why. Anytime there was drama going around, bro, you and I could be sharing a secret in the cafeteria, and he would know what the secret is over off the playground. How he came across information, I don't know. But he was always the one that had information. It's like, bro, you got spies everywhere. He's the original, like, who's that guy? The Varys with the little birds from Game of Thrones. He's the original. I don't know how he came across all this.
Well, hopefully somebody has kind of kept them at I guess, the foot of what is it? The foot of the throne or the hand of the throne, something like that.
Oh yeah,
You know,
the
because
king's hand or whatever.
yeah, King's hand, right? Because you
Yeah,
don't want
bro.
that info getting to the wrong person.
Oh,
And
bro. Hector is a purveyor of information.
so yeah, now I almost feel like I have to sit under the learning tree of one Mosqueda, especially when he says Victor Henry riding out of Southgate, California.
Yeah,
Oh gosh,
that's us. That's us. Yeah.
there you go. Now, I mean, not to turn a somber note, but I mean, during this kind of fight camp and this season, we lost one of our good friends and one of your training partners, Cooper Gibson. Did you? I mean, what did Cooper and Chase mean to you, and Cooper specifically?
Well, I met Cooper first. I met him at a True Warrior Fitness in Hollywood. After my team sub well after I was with after Legends, I should say. I went with Jimmy Romero because he was the one that was having the differences with the owners of Legends. So it seems to me like that kind of shit follows me. Maybe it's my fault. Uh, so after that, we started training at True Warrior Fitness because Toby Tigerheart Greer was at the time he had just gone out of the TFA, and he opened his doors to us to allow us to train, which was fantastic. And that's when I met Cooper Gibson. And Cooper, I've known him since 2006, 2007. So I've known him for a very long time. And then eventually I met Chase, and I was like, and I would confuse them all the time. Chase, Coop, twins, and they look basically alike. If it wasn't for the tattoos, I wouldn't be able to tell. But anyways, um, you know, I would see them every now and again in fights. We fought on the same card. Coop and I did when for King of the Cage,
Mhm.
and that's when I fought Kevin Michelle back in the day. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I would see him every now and again, but you know, and then just recently, as of a couple years ago, we started training together more consistently. And when we got the news, of course, bad news never has good timing. But of course, the real sad part was he was about to sign a 3-fight contract with Bellator, and he was just waiting on a last minute call from the UFC because of this whole thing. And what really makes it sad and depressing is that because of Cooper, Chase has a family and a life now. Chase, the Gibsons had their addiction problems and everything, and then when Chase saw Cooper fighting and being successful at it, Chase used that as inspiration to pull himself out of that whole spiral down and that whole darkness, and because of that, got into recovery, met his wonderful wife. I'm not sure if he met his wife at recovery or anything, but the point is he got himself his wife, and then now they have 2 wonderful kids and a happy family. But that's because of Cooper, Cooper and fighting. Then now Chase has this, and Chase just had his first appearance on the Dana White Contender Series, and didn't get the win, but still fought great. And right now he's training for another fight. And I remember telling the team as soon as this happened, he's like, you know what, guys, Cooper trained with us, so a part of his knowledge and a part of his skill and his effort and him being in the room is always going to be with us because we trained with him. We shared the mats. We bled with him. We trained with him for fights. He trained us for fights. He was always there for us, So his passing, of course, it's sad to the entire team. He affected a lot of people's lives in a lot of positive ways. So, I mean, the only way we can be sad about his passing, but we celebrate his life every time we go out there and we compete. And we wrestle our asses off on Fridays, or we just pull something out of the Cooper bag, and we pull off a submission that he usually does, or a setup that he does. We always see that in our martial arts. So he lives on through our fighting.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. My goodness, yeah, and that's the thing. The physical presence is gone, but I mean, the laughs and the times are, infinitely abundant because he was here with us. And we got to experience him, in the flesh. So it's something that's going to reverberate for eons.
Yeah, as long as we're fighting.
Damn right. And Bob Fisher, repping us all the way on the other side of the world, says Victor, all caps. Shout out to Bob, one of the most talented gentlemen we know on this seaboard or otherwise.
Yeah.
But speaking of like influential people, obviously you're at the gym now, but let's get some shout outs and acknowledgments out of the way in terms of people who have helped you get to the dance and where you are right now.
Well, of course, Josh Barnett, Chad George and the entire CMMA crew. Right now, training, I got a lot of people, a lot of people to thank from the Gibson brothers, past and present. All my dudes over at, the Bowery, Fullerton, everybody over at Bourbon Street, I got all those guys. And of course, my sponsors, Haleo, supplements over in Japan. I got Cold Steel Knives, Metal Justice Tokyo, because I had to have something metal in there. All those guys, they've helped me out, man. And of course, guys like you, covering my ugly ass.
No, man, you've been, it's an honor to call you a friend, and just share these stories and kind of find out more about each other. And it means so much more now, especially with everything going on. And it's just like, cool. So, I mean, thank you for taking the time to share some stories. And again, good skill going into next month's fight overseas.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
No worries. And then last and very not least, where can people find you on social media, my man?
They can find me at Victor Henry MMA across Instagram and Twitter. If you want to tag me in some stuff, go ahead. I like laughs. Give me some memes.
Yeah, those DMs are gonna be full, my man. I'm just saying.
Well, I hope so. And hopefully no foot pics. You know what I'm saying?
No,
people are weird out there.
That's weird. Why would anyone do that?
Oh, because they're weird. You should have seen when Alyssa was fighting over in Japan. She would tell me some stories, man.
I guess. Oh, yeah, man. But again, good skill. Thank you for taking the time, and can't wait to see. I mean, you'll probably the stream and whatever. That'll
Uh-huh.
probably be in your bio and all that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah,
buy
you'll
that
find me
shit
there, man.
because he's fucking Victor Henry. Why the fuck
Uh,
wouldn't you want him to fight? I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
just
But
saying.
for thank you guys for watching us. He is Victor Henry. I am According to Woods, and I usually say like, share, and subscribe and all that jazz. But I guess I've got some help.
Like, share, and subscribe, or you're gonna find my foot up your ass. Or
Damn
Josh's.
right. Damn right.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang. Make sure you subscribe to According to